Mr. Bogle, Terry Bogle.
Been raised in a very strong household with a very strong mother. But as a black youth or a black female, you walk through them doors and I'm going to be able to tackle most of your issues. Not everything, but most of your issues. And the key thing was using culture as a form of treatment. I think what's missing is just structure, bro. I think what's missing is just a structure, like just to be associated as that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Remember at that time she was at the peak of her career, so every second story was, and then I didn't think mental health could look like this. A man who's financially stable, a man who's got everything, so to speak.
Yeah.
But if you ain't got your mind, you ain't got your head, you ain't got shit, bro. Top's not a king because a big lad. But he's going to use more strength getting back up than he is dropping.
Yes. Viciously rip off the sides.
I'm not promoting no one's work. I've already got my liquor range. You know, I've never been asked this question before in no interview, weren't they?
And the paparazzi are around and you just pushing me to one side.
Listen.
We have got, right, a Birmingham icon.
Been called many.
He's always smiling. But I'm going to do the intro properly. I'm going to do it justice. Really do it justice. So, as I said, we've got a man who's always smiling. I don't know what goes on inside, but on the outside, he's happy. He's a businessman. And we're going to talk about some of the business ventures as we take through this journey. Humanitarian, some of his qualities. Founder of Freshwinds BRO-SIS. And I tell you what, that was a journey that really, and we'll go into it, but it changed the course, the travel of direction for me. While we've got my daughter in the house and she's living testimony because things could have went wrong. But also, he supported people living with or affected by HIV. And I know at the time, you know, there would have been some stigma around that work. He's also, in 2007, he played a pivotal role in setting up BBC's Young Game using football and media to promote long-term development and opportunities for young people. He's got a range of alcoholic beverages, a range. He also was the owner and big king. Remember Supremes? Supremes nightclub. Mr. Bogle, Terry Bogle. He has an annual event and he's carrying on the legacy of his late brother with this annual event. Someone that I can call a friend. It's touching probably over 20 years. And as I said earlier, when I was in a less positive space, this was one of few people that provided not only me, but a range of different people with opportunities, which I'm thankful for, really thankful for. But his next journey in life, he's also an author, 3 big books, Forbes Magazine. So if you don't already know who we're talking to, it's Mr. Terence Wallen.
Hey, man.
How's it going, my brother? What
an intro, man. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's
great
to see you and great to be part of this, you know what I mean? Like, it's what evolving is about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I helped you and you're helping me, like, so that's the beauty of life, innit? That's the beauty of our journey, man.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? We spoke about a year ago about doing this. And one thing you said to me, because we was in the audio, and you said, we was in Asda.
Aye, my favourite.
That's your home place. Anytime you want to know where Terry is, go to Asda. But listen, we had a conversation and you said, you know what, it's good doing the audio, but try and get some visuals. And I left there and we've got audio episodes out there, but we've worked in the background. My daughter's on a journey and she's sorting out now the visuals. So here we are. Well, it's upfront discussions, and as you know, we're going to do a deep dive into the journey of Mr. Wallen. Candid, open discussion.
Sure.
We're going to throw the questions at him.
Sure.
Well, Terry, do you know what? Before we even start, as you look back at your life and you connect the dots of things that's happened throughout this journey, what are those dots that's some of the main dots that you've connected that you'd say it's kind of led you to where you are now?
I think, personally, the first start would have been starting from being raised in a very strong household with a very strong mother. Very, very strong mother who kept us over a large family. So, born and bred in Handsworth, we never had it all. We had each other, and that felt at the time like it was purely enough.
Yeah.
Didn't need nothing much more than that. And having such a strong mum like I have had, that was my first level of building all foundations. Everything had to grow from there, because you can't build anything on shaky ground. So once my foundation was set, which my mum set from we were young, in them days as well, I think it could only have gone from strength to strength. I mean, it was easy to be distracted, but once you have those foundations within you, it was fine. I remember I'm born in the early 70s, so I'm from the era of Rasta.
Yeah.
And though I'm not a Rastafarian, I grew up on the basic morals and principles of Rastafari. So it was a whole thing about love, community, brotherhood, sisterhood, us mans being kings, all our females being queens. And all these things I just embraced all these things as a youth growing up in the early 70s, 80s when Rasta was the thing. So, did I say thing? Yeah. When Rasta was the thing. When Rasta was the thing. So, with those dots being connected from early childhood, my eldest brother, Sted, may he so rest in peace as well. He was like, he played the father figure for me. So he also showed me very much how to grow as a man. He sort of taught me everything about business, about hustle, about everything else. Being a young father myself, I had my first, my eldest daughter's mum, she got pregnant. We were both 17, turning 18. So I became a father quite young.
Yeah.
And that was some scary shit. I'm allowed to say shit.
Yeah, man, we'll let you.
Okay, edit it out if I can't. But that was some scary stuff. So all these things, I think, being a young father, I think, okay, now I've got to get myself together. And also just always feeling like I had a lot to give and I could always give back.
Yeah.
One, to my mum, who I felt like I always owe it to my mum to be that good kid. That she's worked so hard. She had cleaning jobs, all other jobs, like working hard strenuously to do her bits, coming from Jamaica over here.
Yeah.
So those darts thing, going into business, I think my first work was I did a sort of the paper round, the milk round, those jobs, and done those jobs. I had a job at a culture shop, if anybody remembers the culture shop on Heathfield Road, the corner.
Heathfield on the corner?
Yeah. I had to do picture framing downstairs. So some pictures in some people's houses right now, if you got parents from the 70s, 80s, some of the picture frames are still there. I put that together. So I had to do picture framing. So, and once again, that was run by Rastas as well, so I was well grounded around their teachings and their philosophies. So, sort of just grafting, hard working, education, obviously. Working again, I worked in principals for years in town. Even that was a transition for me, because at that time, most of the people my age was probably enjoying their life a bit more. When I was, full on working, going to school, going to work after school, doing 2 hours of school every weekend working. You know what I mean? I was reminded the other day that I didn't probably wear a pair of jeans until I was way up into my 20s.
Yeah. Because
I'd wear my school uniform and have to put on a suit to go to work after school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I never had the casual time, but it didn't feel like I was missing anything, to be fair.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I suppose only as I got older and I started to appreciate that this is certainly my journey.
Yeah.
And I just knew that from taking this route and certainly being a leader of some sort, I just knew that, things would flourish. And believing in myself, and because I've always loved the me.
Yes.
I've always loved the me, and I've always embraced as a black man that I'm a king.
Yeah.
And once again, that come from my Rasta days, so that don't change. You know what I mean?
And the Wallen family name, because as I've read the book and to what I know about you, you kind of like the name, how you see the name is like a dynasty, 100%. Right? And you speak very highly of the Wallen kind of like name. And you don't often see that a lot in families in terms of there's expectations.
100%.
Once you're a Wallen, it's expectations. And same, we have these conversations as well, King, because King does the same. Mm-hmm. It's like the name is, there's expectations of how you carry yourself, how you move, you're representing the name. Sure. Where did that all come from? Well,
the surname Wallen, my grandparents are Cuban. So the surname Wallen is not a common name anyway. It's not a common name. However, I say starting from, everyone, my mom was a dinner lady, a playground assistant at Westminster School. So she was always Mrs. Wallen, Mrs. Wallen, Mrs. Wallen. Her name's Gloria, but it was Mrs. Wallen, Mrs. Wallen. So that name Wallen started to ring bells. And then, because there's that many of us, so every school we went to, we were kind of dominant. So we went to Westminster School. There's about 5 Wallens in there. By the time we reached St. George's, there's about 10 Wallens in St. George's. And it just happened, and there's only 2 girls, so there's a whole set of boys. So with the whole set of boys comes a whole set of kids. So there's more Wallens and Wallens and Wallens. So it was kind of imperative in my brother Sted's work as well, worldwide work. Because he worked for Channel 4, he's done some big bits. And so he was always proud of the Wallen saying, and I think I got it from him. I always saying like, this is you, this is what you represent. So when you go out there, you're not just representing yourself, you're representing the family, you're representing like a brand. You are a brand to represent. So I very much install that into my children as well. Like, you guys are Wallens, like, so there's gonna be expectations publicly, but certainly internally for myself and the rest of the family, for you to do well. Not all the Wallens have done great, don't get me wrong, but it is, if it wasn't there, as something to look forward to, something to aspire to. If it wasn't there, then who knows where it will be. So I'm not saying like 10 brothers, 10 different minds as it happens, but to have something to aspire to was great. Because if nothing's there, then what are you looking up to? Yeah. Like today, if I wasn't looking forward to today, then I'd probably be just chilling and do nothing. But I'm looking forward to today. So looking forward to being a Wallen and using that name to your advantage as well. Because there's perks to being a Wallen. There's perks to us doing good stuff and people knowing the same and think, oh, you're Sted's brother. Oh, you're Terry's brother. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And doors can open for you. So I've always been proud of my surname. Yeah. I'm sure that my kids are proud of theirs as well.
Yeah. And again, reflecting on the book, Now I'm Famous. And if you haven't got a copy already, I urge you to go and buy it. Because the thing is, right, it took me on a journey, right, and some was funny, some was emotional for me, but we'll go into them parts. But you speak about the females in your family, right? You have a high regards for them, like your mum and your sisters and how you see them. Again, I want you to talk me through that relationship with the females in your family.
I think I've always been somewhat spoiled anyway as a young lad, and I'm very in touch with my feminine side. So being as a black man from the ends, I was just never the masculine. I was never the tough guy. So I was always the guy to lean towards my sisters, for love, for comfort, lean towards my mum. Even as a grown man, I'm the child. My mum has only been past a year, so I'm the child that would still go to my mum's now and just fall asleep on her lap. Like love and comfort and all those softer things is what worked. Is what worked for me. Yeah. So the females in my family was very much the ones who would ensure that was delivered. So be it my sisters and my cousins and my aunts. Terry was that I'm the one who's going to greet all my aunts with a hug and a kiss. It's not going to be a firms or a wagwan. I'm not that guy. I'm the hug guy. I'm the kiss guy. I'm that guy. So the women in my family have played an imperative part of my whole life. Obviously, from my mum go down, even to my children's mothers, they're all very much the same in terms of how they deal with me and how how the relationships are. So women are just I don't know. I'm assuming that stems from, once again, my mom, from Rasta days, from all those bits that are ingrained in me.
Yeah.
Around, how we treat our women. And don't get me wrong, but I've blundered along that journey.
Yeah.
About how to treat women. I've certainly blundered. But I think the foundations of knowing what's right, what's wrong, has always allowed me to pull myself back and get back on.
Yeah. And becoming a teenage father, like a young...
Yeah. And I had a daughter first as well.
Yeah.
So that was shocking, because before having, like, when you're out there being a Gallus and that, girls are just girls, innit? You just see women as just women until you have your own daughter.
Yes.
And now you become this protective man. So like, I could treat my girlfriend badly or not treat her correctly or disappear out of her life and come back in when it suits me, or not be the man I was meant to be, or probably be similar to the man probably my father was to my mother, and think that was all right.
Yeah.
But when you have your own child, when you have a daughter,
yeah,
and you think, now, okay, you can't, like, hypocrisy has to stop there.
Yeah.
Okay, now, all of a sudden now, nobody can't treat my daughter right, but this time I'm treating somebody else's daughter badly.
Yeah.
So you get all these, revelations as you become a father and grow up.
Yeah. And what was it like though, like being a teenage father? Like, you're navigating through life now. You've become a father at a young age. Looking back,
it wasn't as hard as they say. The fear is much worse than the reality. So I think the fear kicked in first. I'm like, how am I going to do this? But the reality is I can do it. Anything I put my mind to, I can. And also I got a very strong family. So my mom and my sister would help me, babysitting and just teach me the ropes. And once again, I had my daughter's mom was very, very strong, very strong-minded as well. So she also supported me in being a father.
Yeah.
I wasn't the best father.
Yeah.
I feel like as time went on and I got older and got wiser, I became a better father, but I wasn't the best father. But she supported me through that. She supported me through that journey, my daughter's mom. So kudos to Michelle. You know what I mean?
I want to talk a little bit about like the education journey as well, because I know for yourself, even reading the book, you studied business, but you didn't go to university,
Never.
Right? And what I want to ask you is really, do you think the educational system provides the tools what people need really to navigate? Because you've been done loads of different business ventures and been successful and probably not successful in some areas, but you've navigated well.
I feel like it's different strokes for different folks, because though I didn't go to university, I feel like my biggest education, my biggest schooling was life itself.
Yeah.
Rather than what the system. Because just same how we don't rely on the system to educate our children. I don't send my kids to school thinking that's the be all and end all. You get taught at home. So the stuff I got taught at home, I wasn't taught in school.
Yeah.
The stuff I got taught from the elders, I didn't get taught in school.
Yeah.
The stuff I got taught from misbehaving and being punished, I wasn't taught in school. Yeah. The stuff I got taught through life experiences, I just wasn't taught in school. Because school education system is like this, it's very rigid, it's very black and white. That's English, you know what I mean? And if I'm honest, if you spend 9 years in the education system learning French, German, history, geography, and all the sciences.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, I don't think I've ever used any of them since I've left school.
Yeah.
But the bits I've learned in life, I'm still using now.
You're still using them.
To be somewhat successful now. So I'm not knocking the education system. I think it certainly gives you structure.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't recommend that you rely solely on that as your life teaching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, what would you say then the importance of having role models?
100%, bro. 100%. I think I had good role models around me, and I was hoping that I'd become good role model to some of you guys that's been on the same journey as well.
Yeah.
So it's important to have good role models because they're the people that tell the stories exactly as they are.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing it, and it's different from reading it in a book of someone that may have passed, like a William Shakespeare or even a Marcus Garvey, and that it's all right to read them books because I read a lot as well. But to have a physical role model who I can speak to and I can see the pain in their eyes, hear the hurt in their voice, see the love in their smile, it's totally different because I can't get it out of a book. I can't get none of that out of reading a book about anybody who I'd class as a role model for me at the time in terms of reading. So having physical role models in your life and even accessibility, it's totally different from a book because there's times when you just may be on a down and whoever you see as your role model, you can pick up the phone and call straight away. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and they're accessible. So I think it's really important to have positive role models in our life, people who we can look up to, people who ideally are accessible in some shape or form, and people that have just gone through the journey, seen the journey to yourself. Yeah. A real authentic journey, not necessarily a glamorized journey, a real authentic journey. Yeah. So though I always say to the youth that I mentor or so on, don't be fooled by all the glass and that you might see. Like it is what I do. This is very much my job and it's my life. I retired when I was really, really young. Yeah. So this is what I do. And my ultimate aim is happy. So I have to try and be happy every single day. Yeah. But that doesn't exclude that when them doors close, that I don't have my dark days and that things don't always work. You know, I always say success, I think I said it in one of my books, success is what it feels like rather than what it looks like. Yeah. So though it may, because anybody can look successful, but I think success is what it feels like. Yeah. So my success is more internal than it is external. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's why I think to have good, solid role models who support the very same ethos that I do. Yeah. It's irreplaceable. And I always had older role models as well. I always sat at the feet of older people than myself. There's an Asian guy called Mr. Manla. He used to be at the temple, top of Soho Road. Mr. Manla, he's passed as well. Older guy, and I did my law work at placement at his firm. Yeah. And like even he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Definitely, because I remember he said to me, I've always loved gardening. So he said to me, come to my house on a Saturday morning and cut my grass. And my brother used to say, bro, Terry, you're an idiot. You're going to make the Indian man make you go cut his grass every Saturday morning. I says, nah, man. They said, nah, man, come ramp. Them days we used to go to ramp. I said, nah, man, I'm going to check Mr. Manler, man, car. Yeah. I like Mr. Manler. So I used to go to Mr. Manler's house and cut his grass every Saturday morning, early as well. And so literally spent all day. And after I used to cut his grass, he used to sit me down. I sit on the floor and he used to sit in his chair. And his wife used to always bring patties and all his foods. Yeah. And just eat. We just eat and talk to me. Just eat and talk to me. After that, probably like a £5 or £3 or £5 back in them days. Yeah. Send me on my way. Mm-hmm. And I just done that over and over. Then I had another mentor, another older guy called Sidney Bartley. He was another one as well. And he caught me at a good time as well. Just them teenage years when things were just going a bit. I think I mentioned in my book as well. I had to mention him because it's part of the changing course for me. Yeah. I mean, he found stuff in my yard that just like, I remember he waited up for me all night. He was going to batter me actually. And he always said to me, I was going to batter you when you're coming. But because you took so long to come in, it allowed him to calm himself down. But had I walked in after he found stuff in my house, it would have brought me up. Yeah. But something made me delay the coming home. And then he just sat down and he reasoned with me, and I think I cried. I think he probably cried, and we had a strong reasoning about how the things I'm doing would could not that's things I'm doing very selfish because I'm just thinking of self. I'm not thinking of my daughter at the time, not thinking of my mom and effectively my family and all other bits of it. So Sydney Bartley, Mr Mandela, my brother Sted, John Allcroft is another one. Do you remember John Allcroft? John Allcroft, white guy, tap hands up as well, Irish guy, great guy, man. Another one. He had he had a lot of time for me as well. So these are people that fully steered my journey, man. Fully steered my journey for me. And what was so funny was they were all on the same thing I was in terms of the ethos of life.
Yeah.
And focusing and doing the right thing. You know what I mean? But accepting that I was still going to grow. I was still going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So though it was never a point of, all right, you're still messing around, so I give up on you. It was always, we can see in you what you probably can't see in yourself.
Yeah.
And they just pressed on me, man. So every day I show gratitude and appreciation for those particular individuals that did me well, man. So I try and give back as much as I can in the same way.
And your journey took you to, because you're the founder of BRO-SIS.
Yeah.
How did that all come about and why?
My friend, man, he rest in peace, well, he contracted HIV, and him and I were just same good friends. You know, we're doing the road together, all of it. It's like virgins do, and unfortunately, he caught HIV, and it was like awakening. I thought, well, if he could have caught it, then I could have caught it, because we're both on the same thing, not necessarily the same things, but we're on the same thing. So that was a realization for me. So I started to become his unofficial carer, because I was the only person he had told that he was positive. Like, he just said to me one day, boy, Terry. So him being open and honest with me about his diagnosis. So I started to, because now I know, I started to be his carer. Like, because I know things like, boy, you're doing this today, you're doing that today. And then he became very ill, and he went to hospital. So one hospital, I'd be his only visitor again, because nobody else knows that he's sick or why he's sick. So I'd be his only visitor. So while I was visiting him, that's when I realized that his care system wasn't for people of color at the time, because I couldn't understand him. He had a very strong power as well. So I couldn't understand him. I couldn't understand the culture where he was coming from, as to why he's going to get depressed because he's got no visitors. He's got no visitors because he can't share with nobody why he's there. And the fear of, if I tell my sister or my cousin or my aunts and they come there and they see a file, or, you understand? It was just like, whoa, back in them days. Yeah. So they couldn't just grasp the whole issue of how important culture plays in the role of treatment. Yeah. So I don't know, I applied for a job actually as a support worker. And when I applied for that support worker at this clinic, I got the job. And within a matter of weeks in that job, I just felt like, what am I doing here, man? I remember saying it to myself. And I went to the secretary and says, can you book me an appointment to see the CEO of this place? Yeah. What for? So I didn't speak to him. And I went into his office and I says, I want to do my own thing. Like, I appreciate you giving me the job, but this isn't enough for me. Like, I feel like I can do something more. I just needed support at the time. Yeah. And literally the rest was history. He says, okay, fine. I said, listen, I found my own salary, I found my own staff, I found my own everything. Like, you can take back the job and give that job and pay somebody else that salary. I'll do it all myself. Yeah. Always at the back of my mind, how, like, my friend that had passed, like, he was a driving force in my head all the time. Yeah. And then he died, and that sort of just triggered me. Gotta get this off the road. And that's when I set up my own charity. Yeah. Supporting Black people living with HIV/AIDS. You know what I mean? And it just went from strength to strength, because it didn't exist at the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? There were services, but some of the services they're certainly culturally inappropriate. And some of those services that existed never had Black service users. Why? Because it wasn't putting out for them. And two, because the Black service user wasn't coming forward. Yeah. But when I set up BRO-SIS now, after getting one client, like, one Black man, he said his next version, who we know is positive, I wouldn't know, who you probably know from somewhere else. Yeah. There's a Black youth, He's doing bits for us lot, you know. So that bedroom told that bedroom, and before you know it, I just get referrals, like random referrals from, you know, I heard you're happy to support black people living with HIV.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. And then you get, oh, I'm gay, but I'm, you know, I don't know if you're going to take me on because I heard that, you know, you're not a black gay man. I said, boy, it don't matter what you are. I'm here for you as a black man. That's what it is. You're a black man. I don't care what you do in your private life or what you do in terms of your sexuality. Come forth and we got you. Yeah. And then it just opened like a whole kind of world. But before I knew it, we literally had a whole monopoly. Yeah. Every black person living with HIV/AIDS. And that went from Birmingham to London to the UK. And they just started to come in. And it just went from strength to strength. And I just started to raise millions of pounds and was able to employ, in the end, I employed up to like 17, 18 members of staff and sexual health workers. And then with the sexual health came, well, with the HIV, as a means of suppressing the HIV, a lot of my service users turned to drugs. Yeah. So then I started to employ drug workers to support them. Yeah. With drugs comes crime. So then I secured funding from the Home Office to employ criminal justice workers to support them. So it was very much everything under one umbrella. But as a black youth or a black female, you walk through them doors and I'm going to be able to tackle most of your issues. Not everything, but most of your issues. And the key thing was using culture as a form of treatment. That was really the key underlining thing. You know, I went to Jamaica, spoke to Jamaican government, done the same thing, set up a similar project in Jamaica, and understood how important culture is. And I think people kind of side pass how important our culture is. Yeah. You know? And it was just new. It was new for the NHS. They were just, them never know we'll lick them. You know, we started to do things like, I said before us at BRO-SIS, you're only going to get Durex or mates in any clinic. Yeah. You know, BRO-SIS were the first one to start shipping in Rough Riders, Slam condoms, culturally appropriate condoms. So if you go into any clinic and a black youth in the clinic is going to choose between Durex and mates or Rough Riders, my man's going to try the Rough Riders. Yeah. And we don't mind because now you're going to use them. Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? And even culturally appropriate images. Now you see black images with sexual health images on the posters with, you know. So even all the small little bits that we put into place as a team, and I always say I had the best team in the world. The bits we put in place became life-changing to many across the world, you know. And then I was able to take the same project and set them up across the world, you know what I mean? And
it kind of makes sense, you know. It makes sense now because, as you know, Terry, we're not going to cut no corners. But during that time, you'd have went through, I know that you went through a lot of stigma.
Whoa, brother.
Doing that work. But listening to kind of like the reason behind it, it's allowed me now to think, well, how did you get through those times and continue pioneering? But now I kind of know in the back of your mind, there was
you have to be strong in that field of work. You have to be strong because I knew what I was doing was different. Yeah. And I knew coming from Angela, forget the stigma. Remember, you know, I'm now being in a space with more people of the LGBT community than I probably ever had been. I'm now in the Arcadian, in the gay quarter, giving out free condoms. I'm now doing things that I hadn't done before. So I'm even challenging myself as a young black man from the end. You know what I mean? I'm challenging my own self. Yeah. So I'll get stigma left, right, center. You know, they say, you've got to be gay. You know, you've got to be HIV positive. And I mean, I've never been any fatter than this, but all of a sudden, look slimmy.
Because I'll be fair, right? Back in the day, those were the rumors that, he's getting slimmer and slimmer. And
yeah. Which is, you know, I mean, like, you see, if you're a strong mind and strong character, and because I knew why I was doing this, nothing was about to deter me. And I had a strong team who understood what I was doing and why I was doing it. And I was getting rewarded left, right, and centre. And it wasn't even financial reward, but I was changing people's lives. Yeah. You know, we referred to people who were literally on their last days, and we're literally bringing them back to life because now they have a black face talking to them. Yeah. Now they got a brother from the end talking to them, whether in English or in Patois. Now they have someone who just understands them as people, someone who understands their culture. Yeah. And that's a whole different from, you know that saying you can be in a room full of people and still lonely? Yeah. A lot of my service users were lonely, but now they have a black face. And then when I built my team, a majority of my team were black staff. They now come into an organisation full of black people. No one Nobody no scorn them. No one looked down on them. No one judged them. They were just people. You know what I mean? And that kind of genuine, unscathed love is what makes the difference.
Yeah.
Because it is love. And I think you have to separate, and that's another problem back in them days, and probably to some extent now. People can't separate love from sex. You know what I mean? I can say I love my male friend because love is love. Yeah. Love is not sex.
Yeah.
Because we can all go and have sex with someone we don't love. But love is love. So to be able to show love to your fellow man because you're confident with yourself and you know yourself.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. So my team my team embraced how I was.
Yeah.
They embraced what I was putting off. So that just made a whole difference. And honestly, if I'm doing that and I'm going around the world and I'm changing lives, saving lives, bro, what could really stop me? Nothing that the light-headed, perhaps uneducated fool that's going to say, it's got to be, you know what I mean? It's got to be gay or it's got to be HIV positive. Nothing that they could say could stop the stronger force of me going forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But once again, it's a stigma attached. You know what I mean? If you're a drug worker, people don't accuse you of being on drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're going to work in a cancer hospital, people say, that person must have cancer because they work in a cancer ward.
You're right.
But it's a stigma, isn't it? I'm a young black man from the ends, and I decided, exactly. I decided to work in the field of HIV/AIDS, and it wasn't even something that I sat and planned. It happened because part of my life journey. Yeah. Had my friend not died of HIV or died of the later stage of AIDS, that probably wouldn't have been my route.
Yeah.
I'd probably be a humanitarian, but probably not in that field.
Yeah. But you speak about being a humanitarian a lot, and you speak about it in the book. But even if you look back in your childhood, because you went Boys Brigade.
100, yeah, man.
And some of the ethos of that is humanitarian,
100%.
Discipline,
yeah, man.
Helping the community.
Showing steadfast, yeah, man.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, going through it now, the dots are starting to connect for me in terms of, because I used to sit back and think, how do you put up with all what's going on around you? Because if I'm hearing some of the rumors, you must be hearing them as well.
Yeah.
Right. So, but then when I read the book and I saw that you went to the Forbes, now I know why your journey has gone in that direction. Yeah.
And I think part of putting it out, doing my book, Now I'm Famous, was, other than the fact I getting a publishing deal, but I really wanted to not necessarily tell my side of the story, but if you're gonna chat me for any reason, chat me for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Chat me for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And well, as part and parcel of it, it comes with success.
Yeah.
You know, it comes with success. And you know, I kind of sit around the table with people of a similar mindset of my own.
Yeah.
I give my time because time is more valuable than anything else.
Yeah.
I give my time to people who I got love for and who are also the same mindset of myself. So all the bits and bars that people may say and that, couldn't faze me. Couldn't faze me.
And I want to talk going on to the criminal justice side now, because as you said, BRO-SIS extended to the criminal justice.
Yeah.
And that's where kind of like I got into it, right, through the criminal justice, like the work.
Yeah.
And to be fair, and I don't know how it happened, but I ended up going to places and supporting people where I had no business going into these places. So you was opening doors.
Yeah.
And in the back of my mind, myself and the rest, Mr. Ruddy, and we was thinking, this man must be connected for us to be able to be mentors in these places, right? So again, if you look back, even at the Cubs days, we don't have nothing like that nowadays. Do you think the youth are missing something and not to say the Cubs, because look, that's back in the day now, but something equivalent. Because to be honest with you, we were lucky because we had your organization, right? And so we could go to you and say, listen, we want to go on this path, and you pointed us in the right direction. But do you think that we need something like a modern day kind of Cubs
maybe
to
not.
instill?
I think what's missing is just structure, bro. I think what's missing is just a structure. Like, you know, King, you obviously work in youth, so you know that it's important for the kids to have structure. Like, you take any level of structure out of a young person's life and just sort of allow them to be free. Then they're going to get up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, and then they're going to jump on their PlayStation till 5 o'clock, and then they're going to go and link a girl and eat a box food, and then they're going to sit and bun a spliff, and then it's time gone. It's time you couldn't get back. But I think what we had back in our day was structure. You know, we had to, every Sunday, we have to go to Sunday school. Whether we like it or not, we have to do our proof. Whether we like it or not, we got to go to Forbes Magazine on a Friday. Whether we like it or not, we got to go to school. All these little bits, you know, even if it was on a weekend, I got to go and visit auntie donor, such and such. Like, we just structure. So we kind of got into the routine of coming up, even coming home from school, taking off your uniform before you go ramp, all these little bits. It's all structure based. And I think this, we grew into a generation where structure just wasn't there. So we were just free to do what they wanted, how they wanted. And I think that's that played a major part into the slippery slope that we've seen in the early 90s and 2000s, when things just didn't seem like they were working for us as a community. So structure, brother.
It's important, because I know, King, you're in youth work, so you know the importance of role models and having someone there that people can talk to. I want to shift now, because in the book, there's 3 parts in that book that shaped me a little bit. One in particular. Well, I want to go into the dark days. Because, as I said, you're always smiling. But what's behind the smile as well sometimes is the thing. And you spoke about, there was 3 dark days in this book that you spoke about. And to be fair, at the time when things were happening, even with me, I was a bit confused, and I was thinking, But when I read the book and I saw how you hold the females in your life so highly, it did leave me confused sometimes in terms of when you went through that dark time, and not to talk about it.
Feel free, man.
But I want to go down how that came about.
Which one?
Really, dark day number 1.
Which one was it though?
We're gonna talk about where you went through the time with the domestic violence.
Okay.
Right?
So
but what I want to go, because in the book, right, there was a period of time as well where, okay, your name's associated with that.
Yeah, man.
Right. We're only human.
Yeah.
Right. Again, not condoning it, but it's how now the strength of how you found yourself in that situation, number 1, and then the strength to be a man about it as well and put your hand up where you said in the book that you accept what you've 100%.
Done. I think Dark Days number 1, it was, if I speak of it, I'm going to speak of it whilst I'm going to speak about it like when I was in it. Rather than when I wrote about it in the book. Because when I wrote about it in the book, I'm past it. So whilst I was in it, I never seen it as a dark period. I just seen it as just going through the motions of life and dating and wanting control, certainly not loving myself. Treating my daughter's mum wrong. And other different factors that would have came into it. You know, remember at the time, she was rich, famous, millionaire. So I'm very much even though I had my own stuff going on, but it was kind of a different level in the sense of what I was doing. I didn't necessarily require any public gratification for.
Yeah.
So my work, anything I'm doing, I'm happy to change your life. I'm cool. You don't need to call my name. I just need to know that the job's done. I think being in her life, I was very much just Terry, her partner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of it was a different thing. So though, you know, we could go to any premiere and all the cameras on there, and I'm just standing like this for a good hour, 2 hours. And I'm only thinking back to, you know, at the time, it probably didn't hit me enough. And when it did hit me, I think all things put together, all my reactions to it was wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I had known what I know now of how to deal with conflict, how to deal with aggression, how to deal with anger, how to deal with hurt, how to deal with pain, I would have never put her through what I did put her through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, some of it is glamorized because it's media.
Yeah.
And I understand media. But any which way, I don't dilute nothing in terms of, because who am I to say how she felt?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I can shot you a box and feel like, oh, there was a box here.
Yeah.
But who am I to say what that felt like for you?
Yeah.
On the receiving end?
Yeah.
Whether physically or emotionally, who am I to say that?
Yeah.
So selfishly, yeah man, I shot you a box. Not thinking about that box could have shook you up internally, but I'm not thinking like that because I'm not in that headspace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think I went through that with her as being a perpetrator of domestic violence because that was me.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it at the time. I didn't understand that's what I was. I just felt like I was just being a man, controlling my shit. You chat shit to me, I'm gonna box you.
Yeah.
You violate me, I'm gonna lick you down. Not necessarily her case, I'm saying in general.
Yeah.
You give me a bun, I'm gonna box you down.
Yeah.
And thinking that this is all okay. And maybe because I'd probably seen these things culturally as acceptable, think, you know, this is all right. But I think once I realized, which was later on down in life, that all that behavior, that bravado, all that bullshit, all that abuse perpetrated from me, and her having to deal with that whilst trying to be a mother to my child, I realized that, like, Terry, man, you're fully messed up.
Yeah.
Fully messed up. I know all I could do was ask for forgiveness, which I did.
Yeah.
You know, I changed as a man.
Yeah.
She changed as a woman. I asked for forgiveness.
Yeah.
I write about it, speak about it at, you know, women's conferences and domestic violence.
Yeah.
And I say, yeah, I was that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think one of the biggest things was to, you know, have her accept that I'm sincere about I messed up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, it's being publicized in terms of her giving me forgiveness and all that piece of it. But yeah, man, it was a very, very dark period. A dark period for the whole family as well, because just to be associated as that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Remember at that time, she was at the peak of her career. So every second story it was, and then, you know, it's always that, once again, the surname, Terry Wallen.
Yes.
You know, her manager, Terry Wallen. You know what I mean? Then press outside my house, news of the world. It was just the sun. Boy, the sun don't ramp, bro. The sun. You know, the sun phoned me one day and says to me, instead of the sun, this is Royal Mail. We've got a parcel for you. Can you come in? Can you collect the parcel? I'm just it's Royal Mail, you know. And just once again, I don't know what happened, but I phoned my brother and said, listen, go and grab the parcel for me because I'm doing something else. He goes, safe. And when he went to grab the parcel, it wasn't with the Sun newspaper waiting outside my mum's house to take photos. And they even published photos of him saying it was me, but it wasn't me, it was him. You know what I mean? Like, even them things like, and then people having to nudge my mum at church. I said, oh yeah, I heard your son. I heard your son. Terrible period, man. Terrible period. And then I realized how much my stupid behind closed doors
Yeah.
behavior affects everybody else in my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even my daughter herself would have to hear, your dad's just a woman beater.
Yeah.
I mean, but to her, nah, my dad's the greatest man I heard. My dad showed me nothing but love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just crazy how our poor behavior can affect so many different people without you thinking.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, man, that was a dark period.
Yeah.
Dark period.
And you know what I want to do is go into a deeper dive, right? Because when I read things, like everyone else, I try to analyze the whole kind of like situation. And I looked at it in a deeper context of, because mental health, men's mental health, and we talk about it all the time, King. Hurt people,
100%.
right? And there was something in that book, right, that really pinged in my mind, is where you spoke about your dad, right? And you said that, and I'm not going to say word for word, I don't want to get it wrong, right? But it was along the lines of, you wish your dad would have made your mom happy, right? Would have made her smile, and them grow old together, right? And I got the sense that it was a part that you've not really got over, or you probably have, but it was something that was niggling in you.
Yeah.
And again, not to justify anything, but it's for individuals to understand some of the deep-rooted things that's going on inside them that makes them react in a certain way, because you've apologized and you've put your hands up. But when I read the book, I looked deeper into the situation, because I always try and look at the root cause of some things. And when you wrote that in the book, again, I could be wrong, hurt people came to my head straight away.
I totally agree that hurt people. And I think, like, I really craved a relationship with my dad when I was younger.
Yeah.
Not now, though. Not at all now. But back then I did. And I felt like, I really feel like I was chasing, when you're chasing something that just keeps running away.
Yeah.
It's that feeling, like chasing this man for love, and he just keeps running away. I'll catch up to him.
Yeah.
It'll always be short-lived. You know what I mean? And I felt like my dad didn't treat my mum the way she deserves to be treated. And I think all those things encompassed just kind of made me a bitter guy, a bitter, sad in parts, damaged in many parts, and also not being able to kind of understand it fully.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whilst I'm not understanding it, I'm acting it out in all shapes or forms. You know what I mean? So I used to say, I've said this for years and years and years. I used to say, I'm going to be the best dad on earth, because my dad was shit. I used to always say, my dad's shit. Or I'm a good dad because my dad wasn't. But just after my mum passed, I had this crazy epiphany one morning after she had died. And it just, because I keep a pad beside my bed, and that's how I end up writing books and that. Things come to my head, I just write it down. And just came to one morning, and I realized that I'm a good father because my mum taught me how to father, not because my dad was a shit dad.
Okay.
Because I'm now of the belief, you can't teach me if you're not there.
Yeah.
My mum had to taught me how to father. So my fathering skills had to come from my mother, not from me, because he couldn't have taught me how to be a father. But I blamed him for it.
Yeah.
For years, in that sense.
Yeah.
So I try and take the strength from, okay, so instead of giving him the bad energy, just give mum the glory.
Yeah.
And then I can smile again.
Yeah.
It's a whole different energy, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Instead of hating him, dad's a waste man. Why not? my mom's a shutter. My mom's a, hey, you can't run from my mom because she can mother and father us.
Yeah.
You couldn't even just father us.
Yeah.
Psh, but you can mother and father me.
Yeah.
You see, brother, in our one.
Yeah.
So shifting energy.
Yeah.
But that comes with finding yourself in it. That comes with me finding me, the real me and the deeper me. You know what I mean? So it's been a journey, man. It's been a journey, man. It really has. That part was a crazy part for me, that whole Dark Days one.
Yeah. And when we bump into each other in Asda, we speak about...
This is your Asda, your meeting spot.
This is our Asda meeting spot, man. Do you know what? I remember one time, Terry saw me, and sometimes I'm too lazy to get a trolley or a basket. And I had loads of stuff in my hand, and he was waving over and he said, do you want me to get you a basket? Do you want a basket? It's like, nah, it's all right. It's like, you sure? It's like, nah, it's cool. But one of the things we spoke about before is men don't talk.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes we bottle things up and we'll go through our emotions, but we don't speak out. And again, one of the things I've read in the book is how you said it's important to have good and trusted people around you where you can show your vulnerability.
100%.
Because during some of those dark days, you mentioned and certain members in your family that you had around you that you was lucky to.
Yeah.
Again, I want you to really speak on the importance of, because we have to show our vulnerability, but in a safe space.
The safe space.
Yeah.
Cause like talking, listen, don't be fooled by that word family, bro. Family is a word that's just thrown about because we're blood tied. But family on many occasions don't mean shit. Just a word, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we can, you have to know who you can talk to. You have to feel it deep within that, having those conversations, those deep conversations with individuals. And those people are as sincere as the conversation you're having. You know what I mean? You know, talking to some people is like bleeding next to a shark.
Yeah.
Pointless. I'm going to end up eating you alive. So I was fortunate enough to have key people that I could speak to. You know what I mean? I went into counselling as well because I had to speak.
Yeah.
I have to speak my truth in order to, as part of my therapeutic process. So I was fortunate enough to have good people around me, a good counsellor, and love me enough to be able to speak to myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can do the I ams.
Yeah.
I can speak to my cousins, my daughters, my kids' mums. You know what I mean? I could speak, my brother's alive, I could speak to my brother. There's people I could speak to, but there's members, family and friends that I wouldn't even consider, wouldn't even think about talking to them about anything that's really, really deep rooted, you know, out of fear that someday it might come back and bite me.
Yeah.
It's always good to have the right people in your circle. And more time that circle's small. When I was younger, not much younger, but when I was younger, you know, I had everyone, you know what I mean? I had everyone. But you get that in it. When I got a table full of food and a table full of money and a table full of liquor, place ram out. When I started to narrow it down, I have a table full of books. I realised when I got 3 people around the table, you know what I mean? Because now it's a whole different reason why you're around me. Now it's talking about knowledge, talk about self, talk about love, talk about relationships. It's slightly different now. You know what I mean? So my circle became much, much smaller once the conversations changed, once I as a man had changed. So when I was keeping the bullshit, everyone was around me. I decided that, I can't be that guy no more. Like the table itself, the products on the table got lesser. And so did the circle. And the real ones stuck it out. You know what I mean? So you gotta know who you got around your table, man. 100%. You gotta know who you eat with or break bread with. You must know.
And you speak very highly of your brother, Sted, because he played a significant role in your journey as well. Even going back to the Supremes days. Talk to me about that relationship, but also talk to me about Supremes.
So we'll do Supremes first because it was alive then. Supremes was, once again, just another thing that part of Sted's, because Sted's style of, I didn't realize at the time, but he's my brother, but he's also like my father. And let's understand the difference between dad and father.
Yeah.
So my brother Sted was my father because he fathered me.
Yeah.
You know, any of us men can be a dad. It's easy to be a dad. I mean, we've all got sperm, we all can reproduce in that sense. But my brother Sted was a father, so he fathered me, which means he loved me, but he also disciplined me.
Yeah.
He'd also hug me, but he'd also, back in them days, be of yourself, spawns you, in that sense. So it was just that combination of finding that balance to get it right with me. So from Supreme's days, also part of Sted's way of sink or swim. And he'd done it throughout his whole life with me. He was very much buy a set of properties, drop the keys to me, sort them out, bro, and get off.
Yeah.
Sink or swim. Okay, I gotta do this. Same as Supremes. It was his idea. Literally Supreme, his idea.
Yeah.
Though, finance and shit, but it was his idea. I wasn't interested in going to no nightclub business or restaurant business. His idea.
Okay.
But very much he done it and stepped off. Win your club, bro. Win your club. But he was like that because he always believed that no matter what we've done together, he can always step back and I'm gonna have it boxed off.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of brother. You know what I mean? I'm gonna work and get it right. So he just kind of showed me so many different angles in business, in terms of business and hustle.
Yeah.
He just showed me so much. And he was, I'd say he's probably my biggest, in terms of influence, he's probably the biggest influence I've ever had. And not taking anything from my mum, because you kind of have an expectation of what a mum is to a child, but to have a brother like Sted, so what he is and will always be to me, because I'm loyal to Sted in life and I'm still loyal to him in death. That's probably why I well up every time I speak about him, because it's a different kind of expectation. Like to have a brother like him, you just don't think it exists. We all know our mothers are gonna mother us, but to have a brother like how he treated me and how he dealt with me and how much he showed me and how much I learned from him, it was just that's why losing him had to be listed as one of my darkest days ever, because it was all shock, all unplanned. Nobody knew. I just literally went to his house one day and he was dead on the floor, and I was just thinking like how my whole life just changed from that point. And I think that was the first time when I felt like my mental health had been challenged. Before that, mental health was just a word that I thought was linked to people that I perhaps see on Soul Road looking a bit disheveled. I didn't think mental health could look like this. A man who's financially stable, a man who's got everything, so to speak.
Yeah.
But if you ain't got your mind, you ain't got your head, you ain't got shit, bro. And that's the only time when I first felt that I'd lost control.
Yeah.
And I knew I had to do something about it. And that's when I did my own, I'm Terence Wallen, so to speak. I am Terence Wallen. I'm going to do something about it. Because I knew that had I not, I was scared of, I feel like before that, I feel like I can come back from everything.
Yeah.
If I lose 100 bags today.
Yeah.
I think, but I also know I can make back 100 bags in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
I can always come back. You know what I mean? I get an injury today. Eventually I'll heal. But I just didn't know how to ever come back from that period. And that was my biggest fear, that I didn't know how do I get back to the Terry.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest fear. And that's when my mental health was challenged. And that's when I had to do. That's why I started to go into counselling and all other bits that I had to try and get my head right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was my dark day too, I believe, in the book. And still my dark day now, because I struggle. You know what I mean? I have my struggling days. I struggle. As much as things work and things happen, I struggle.
Yeah.
So, and it allows me to look at life totally different and put life into a whole different perspective. And value time with loved ones, value time with loved ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How important that is. Because as time goes, you can never get that back.
Yeah.
You can have the memories, but it's not the same thing. So it made me look at life totally different, you know? So we can all chase the money, chase the bags, chase the money, chase the jewels, chase the houses, chase the properties, chase the assets. We can chase it all, but nothing compares to having the value of those people in my life, like my brother Sted. So that was the dark day for me, bro. The darkest day for me.
And how important would you say the counselling is? Because again, when I read that dark day, it brought back a lot of memories for me, because everything that you was talking about, I went down that journey as well. Okay. In terms of like the bereavement and how I lost my dad when I was 11. Okay. You see, in front of me. So these are the things, and I'm big age now, and I can recall exactly what happened, the smells at the time and everything. I can recall it. Yeah. And when I was reading that, how you found your brother, it was like you was reciting step for step of what happened. But in terms of the counselling, because a lot of people, they dismiss counselling, they dismiss that, look, my mental health is being challenged, especially men. Right. How important would you say the counselling is in a journey?
Counselling is massive, bro, because it gave me a chance to speak, to gurgitate. Like, vomiting is very uncomfortable, but I'd rather that out my stomach and in a bowl than staying in my stomach and eating me alive. You know what I mean? So I understood that I had to get it out myself. I have to get it out. And that's why I don't hold back on my emotions. I don't hold back when I feel low. I don't hold back when I well up and I feel low. I don't hold back on my tears, because that's me. Now, if I held back on my tears, as I'm speaking, if I hold back on it, it's still in me. If I let the tears out, it comes out salty and it's out my body. Yeah. And that's how I live through my life. Let it out. And if you jump on my WhatsApp, I do my truths every day. And sometimes I choose a funny. Like today was a funny my truths. But sometimes I get up and I write how I feel. Yeah. And that's part of my therapy. So by going to counselling, it gave me a chance to speak to a total stranger. Yeah. Who doesn't know my brothers, doesn't know my pains, doesn't know nothing. Just gonna listen. And from a non-judgmental point. Yeah. Just hear me get it all out of my system without judging. Which I probably can't do with some things you just can't do with close friends. Yeah. Because they would have, or with family members, because my family members also have relations with the people I'm actually speaking about. So they could be judging. Hold their opinion in there. Right, hold their opinion, and you know what I mean? So going into counselling with a total stranger, and I got it's also good to have a good counsellor. I got a good counsellor as well, who listens and we can reason and so on. So going into counselling was a big step for me, because also I knew that that's another step in my life where I'm also going to be questioned and people are going to see it as soft. Yeah. My brother's from the ends, but he's a weak fence. And I mean, like, I don't know, the ones again probably come to the culture that where you come from a strong, concrete place, so you're meant to be rock hard. You know what I mean? You're meant to be rock hard. So I think going into counselling and not being ashamed to say I'm in counselling, that comes with challenges as well, because then people see counselling as a sign of weakness. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I see it as a sign of strength. Well, I 100% know it's a sign of strength. Yeah. Because enough men supposed to go in that counselling and won't go into counselling. Yeah. Because they're weak. Yeah. Because they're not accepting their traumas. They're not accepting the issues they're going through. I accept mine. Yeah. So I do something about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, that's a strength. Because there's no strength in falling down. Because gravity is always going to let everything go down. There's no strength in falling down. When you're dropping on the floor, there's no strength there. You only ever use strength to get back up. Yeah. If I kick you down, perhaps not king because a big lad, but he's going to use more strength getting back up than he is dropping. Yes. So there's only strength in getting up. So with that saying as well, so there's only strength in me had to feel to myself, I'm a strong man to go into counselling because I'm on the way up. Because I've already been down. I didn't have to be strong to go down. I had to be weak to go down. To be strong to get up. So most men, I just feel like, especially black men, you know, it's full of pride. Like, if you need help, and it's something that we've never really done in our community, the amount of deaths we've had and traumas, we've never had that kind of thing to deal with it. The quickest thing that we were thinking was revenge. How do we get back the man that's hurt somebody for us? We've never had counselling to heal ourselves of our traumas, of what we're going through, you know, be it loss or otherwise. So, yeah, man, I definitely recommend counselling to anybody. And I don't rely on my counsellor neither. No, sorry, not at all. I don't rely on my counsellor to get me through this period. I use my counsellor as a tool. I use my counsellor as a tool, but I also do my I ams. You know, I am black, I am a king, I'm solid, I'm good at this. I am Terence Wallen. I'm a serial smiler. I have to use my own like self-work to get over, to go through this period of my life. And also to have the right people around me that brings that right energy, that right feeling, that right aura in my spaces. So I don't really go certain places because the aura doesn't work for me. So I got to be in the right place, and I use all those things put together as a combination of things, no one thing, combination of things, including counselling. That works for me. But definitely, us as black men definitely need to look at ourselves in terms of getting help. If you don't, and once again, professional counselling doesn't work for everyone. So there might be some other way, which is also a tool of counselling that works for you.
And throughout your journey, it's all about discipline. I see a key theme of discipline throughout your journey. And you was on a podcast that, I don't remember the lady you were speaking to. Well, you said something about cricket that was quite interesting to me because I never really associated cricket like that. And you said to the woman, cricket is a very disciplined game. When the batsman's out, you don't see the batsman arguing or anything. They just walk off.
Always.
And that's it. They just walk off. And I thought, do you know what? If I reflect on cricket, I've never seen a batsman argue. I've seen like tennis and people smashing their rackets and everything. And tennis is like, the etiquette of tennis is very high. But then I started to think, okay, so tennis plays a big part in your life as well. And then I reflected back on the annual events. And how you continue to, you know, keep that going as long as possible.
25 years I've been doing it. Same event, 25 years,
Okay. So what's the future hold? Is that going to continue the...
You know what, if I'm honest, the next August next year will be our 25-year anniversary. So I'm really going to revalue it then. I think because it was an event that I was doing with my brother for years, and he died the day before the event. So he died a Saturday, and I still had to have the event on the Sunday. And I think because I'm having to do the event without him, and I turn it into a memorial, and though it's fine, it's beautiful, and hundreds of people turn up, and I really feel like maybe the 25 years is probably my time to stop doing the event, possibly, and just remember him in a different way around about that period. Because I feel like 25 years of doing anything is a long time. But I also need to realize that I'm also writing my own legacy. I also need to, as well as keeping his legacy alive, and my mom's legacy with the school and stuff. Mom certainly, you know, doing his legacy. And though people always say, you know, man, you can't stop this, man, your brother wouldn't want you. Listen, my brother's not here. It's not what it's not. It's no longer what my brother wants. It's now what I want for him and what I want for myself. And because I know him best and he knows me best. If I decide that the 25 years is going to be the last one in terms of the event, it's never going to change my love for him. Just means I just don't put on no big event in Hansard Park. So I'm going to decide if next year will be my last year, because it is a lot to do. It is a lot to do. It's a very emotional day. And I struggle with the day every single year. And I got to ask myself, do I want to plan an event 8 months out of the year just to be upset on the day. You know what I mean? Like, don't want to be doing that every year. While everybody else is laughing, enjoying themselves, I'm thinking, like, where's my brother? This is why I'm here, for him, and he's not here. And I feel like I may be able to celebrate him in many different ways while we're doing the event. So I haven't said this to no one, to be honest with you. I guess I like you guys while this has come out today. But yeah, I might just make it my last one next year and not do it again. You know, just find another way to celebrate him. Because it's a hard day. You know what I mean? And what made it even worse, the Sunday when I do my brother's memorial, on the Sunday, my mum died on the Monday. So it was just like, just finished the memorial, then the mum died straight afterwards. Yeah. So I'm not sure if I want to be doing this, and that's the God's honest truth, bro. But it's not. Once again, I've got to be strong enough within myself to know that the masses will say, "Wait, look how long we have this event I go on." Wait. I just have to be ready for Ted on. I'll just hold a press conference and I'll just sit in my hat with my locks out and say, "Listen, it's just not going to happen anymore." Yeah. And it's now about what works for me, what works for my family, and what's the best way to go forward. You know what I mean?
Terry, when did the thought process change, the mindset for you? Because it seems that the mindset's shifted from money-oriented, like chasing money, and it's now shifted to a more humbler place.
I think it changed. I think probably changed when my brother died. Yeah. If I'm honest. I think because though I'm a shrewd businessman, I'm very good at what I do. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't man when it comes to my money, don't get me wrong. But I'm also a humanitarian and I get more pleasure from helping. You know, my life is more about what I give than what I get. So business side, that still exists. But I think once I realized how valuable time over money was, then I think I had a massive shift in my whole thinking. You know what I mean? I don't think it happened overnight, but I think once I lost my brother, and when my brother passed, so my brother's very, very well to do as well. And he left everything to me. And I couldn't calculate or even try to match what was left to me, which is everything, like every single thing, over just wanting him to be here with me. You know what I mean? So I kind of started to look at life totally different and realize that time is the most valuable thing. Because what I'd give just to have him back, I'd easily exchange for everything for a moment, you know what I mean? And, you know, I celebrate a lot of wins, you know what I mean? And I know he'd have been really proud of me, you know what I mean? Hitting Forbes, all that above. But it's an achievement, yes. Yeah. And it's a win. But for me, it's a win that I would have preferred him to be here whilst I'm winning, rather than winning without him not being here. And even if just to see him like smile at me and say, "Well done, kid, you done good," or just to go to him and hug him up, try and get him a headlock and say, "I'm richer than you now." Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's the things that really matter to me. So though these wins are coming, and they have been coming, it just doesn't carry the same weight. So, and with that comes a whole lot of humbleness. Yeah. You know, it just comes a whole lot of different me. And I think that's what keeps me grounded. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what keeps me grounded. People, I'm still always going to be approachable. Forbes or no Forbes, millionaire, not a millionaire, I'm still always going to be grounded, still going to be approachable. I'm still going to rock one of my Utes them t-shirts over the Gucci. Yeah. You know what I mean? When I say Utes, I mean my sons. I mean one of the young kids. That's their brand.
Oh, is this their brand?
Yeah. Yes. But I mean, like, I'm still going to do that. And that just forever keeps me grounded, bro. Yeah. Forever keeps me grounded. You know what I mean? So that's where the shift came in, I think.
Well, you've always been, to me anyway, you've always been approachable. But you always leave.
I catch me on a bad day. Get out of my office, Stephen. Don't want to chat to me. Stephen, get out.
Do you know what, Terry? But you always, right, leave impressions on people. There's 2 impressions you left on me, like back in the day, right? Where, and I still got that BBC top. My daughter would have saw this BBC top. I wear that top with pride, you know.
Aye.
I remember going into the office, Selly Oak, and I saw these tops. And I think it was around the time where you started working with the BBC. Yeah. I said, I want one of them tops. And was it Maxine?
Yeah, Maxine.
Maxine said, no, you can't have one of them, you know, it's they're Terry's tops. So when you came in, I said, Terry, I want one of them tops, you know. And you was like, no, I gotta give these ones out. I'm gonna get you one.
Yeah.
And that's like our culture. People always say they're gonna do things, they don't follow through. Yeah. So I left there and thought, they ain't getting me no top. Next time I went in, the top was there. Maxine said, there's the top. And I wear that, you know, I wear that top with my BBC top.
Yeah.
But the other one as well. I was going to bring it today, you know, I was going to bring it with me today. But the next time, right, where you left the impression, famous Asda again, right? And you said the similar thing, you know, you said that we was talking and you started talking about, you know, wealth, right? And you said our real wealth is what we have, the time that we spend with people. And I left and that stuck in my brain in terms of, you know what? I don't know what's happened, but this ain't the Terry that I know, but it's still left. And this is why I say sometimes it's not what we say to people, you know, it's the impression that you leave on them, because then we go on our journey and it influences a direction of travel as well for us as individuals. But also everything that you've gone through, Terry, because now you've moved and you're an author.
Can you believe?
A well-established author. But I think everything that we spoke about today has really geared you up to the next chapter in your life.
Yeah, I agree.
And writing. Because again, as I read that book, it kind of like opens up things, and everyone will read it in different ways and take their different things. But I want to know, number one, when did you decide to start penning things down? And what was the process? Because everyone's got a book in them. We've all got a book in us. But not everyone can write it down because it's hard.
Yeah, I think for me, writing, once again, was also part of my therapeutic process. Because everything came after my brother died. He's never seen this book, my first book. And had he had seen it, he would have had a box in his boot, driving around telling everybody, this is my brother, this is my brother, this is my brother. Or he'd have one under his arm everywhere he goes. So I think the writing process for me was part of my therapy, just writing about how I felt. You see, the weight of like, people don't understand the weight of success, you know. People just so driven towards becoming successful, but they don't understand the weight that comes with success. Now, everyone that I know within my circle that are millionaires or multi-millionaires, it comes with a lot of weight. Now, if you look at £1 million in cash, let's say £20 notes, then it's going to be bigger than this table. £1 million in cash. We weigh probably about 25 kilograms. Now, to walk around, on paper it looks all right, but to walk around and live, carrying that on your shoulders every day, you're soon going to start bending. You're soon going to start wavering. So, like, being a millionaire isn't there. It comes with you have to be a certain kind of balanced guy. You have to have that kind of sense of balance in your life to be able to manage that. And people can become rich and become successful financially and mess it up because they don't have the balance, right? They either lean one way towards something or lean the next way towards something, but they just don't have the balance. So when you are chasing, when you're so-called chasing the bag mustn't just be the money.
Yeah.
The bag has to be a way of life.
Yeah.
The way of thinking. You have to get to that place. And that comes with a lot of reading.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, a lot of writing. And all that process just got me into writing down all my thoughts, writing them down. And then obviously I decided to I didn't decide. It just I was having a chat and the publisher guy says, you know what about if we put your book out? What would you want to write about? And I know me, because I'm enough. So I write about myself. So I write about myself. My first was going to be my autobiography. You know what I mean? It's got to be that light. It's got to be that light.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay. My first publishing deal was a 3-book deal.
Yeah.
My first publishing deal. I said, okay. Once again, I'm also a businessman, so I'm also going to do the maths.
Yeah.
But okay, let's grab this. So I knocked out my autobiography. Well, my autobiography was kind of, what I literally done was, had loads of headings, you know.
Yeah.
Like for anyone who wants to think of writing, you got the headings, so, you know, like I got dark days 1, dark days 2,
yeah.
family, you got friends, you got school, blah, blah, blah. So I had probably like 20, 30 headings,
yeah,
which I know I could write bits about. And then you kind of probably drag school heading into your youth section. So
yeah.
And before you know it, you've come down to 10. You kind of scattered at your first writing. And that's how I ended up writing my book. I had loads of headings. I could write about every bits and bobs. I thought, that kind of comes under my school, so drag that into there, write about that. Family, okay, yeah. So that's how, you know, wealth can go into my business section, fling that into there, so that now they're down chapters.
Okay.
And then started to write about each one, basically, and then, you know, send it back to my publishers. They mix and match it, change it. Oh, no, that doesn't sound right, blah, blah, blah. But very much that way. And then get yourself a nice photographer, nice photo shoot, get that tilt on your head and that smile. And then, you know, before you know it, you know, my first book was out. And you know, my autobiography didn't even sell that much at first, because it was, I think people that just knew me wanted to buy it. So I sent a couple 100 copies. It was all right though, Carl. So, oh, well, I've got a book out, innit?
Yeah.
Something that I was first author in my family and so on. Okay. But then when I put out my second book now, 365 Days of the Truth, which is very, once again, so therapeutic. It's a daily I-ams, basically. Get up every day, read a page. So positive.
Yeah.
My first book started to sell again.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and that's it.
People are going back now and looking at the catalogue.
Yeah, thinking, okay, so
catalogue now, isn't it?
Who's this guy? But I think they really want to know more about the person that's writing these motivational things. Who is he? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I started to buy my autobiography to learn a bit more about me and understand, why am I writing these positive affirmations every day? And if you read my autobiography, you know, okay, so I see why he's at deaths, blah, blah. I see why he's writing these. So then my second book started to sell. First book started to sell again. By the time it was my third book, it was just sort of gone mad, you know.
Yeah.
Then I got worldwide distribution of my books. So that's just went mad. Once I hit Walmart, asked me to go on Clear Brother. You know, it was like that. Then like Barnes & Noble in New York. And it just went like, it's weird how things happen. It's like putting a record out, you just don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then, you know, you get a call from your publisher. Oh, yeah, you know, Forbes Magazine want to chat to you. I think, don't lie. Yeah. It's a prank, because I'm a prankster, you know me. I run jokes every day. It's a prank, not no joke. And so when all these things start to come together now, you realize that sometimes, you know, you just be you in it. Yeah. And things just happen. And I believe in my guardian angel. So those stars that we spoke about, they shine down on me, you know what I mean? And things just come good. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I got good angels, you know what I mean?
And the 90-day truth planner, what makes that different from every other planner that's out there?
About £20. If you buy it from Amazon anyway, about £20 extra. Nah, it's the planner is because my planner is based on the me you know, the me you know. You know what I mean? It's based on a tried and tested formula in terms of because I use a planner, but the plans I use are so geared towards business, geared towards getting a structure of success right in your life. And you know, if you look at everyone's what do you call them board things again?
Mood board.
No, not mood boards.
Vision board.
Vision boards.
Yeah.
Now, part of my fraudulent planner, we ask people to send in their publishing company their vision boards, and we're looking at different people's vision boards as part of our sort of process. And like, no lie, about 9 out of 10 of the vision boards were literally all the same.
Okay.
The yacht, the oath, the job, the stack of money, all in everyone's vision board. Or the holidays, no.
Yeah.
But no one on the vision board, as part of their vision, was having a smiling mum, happy kids running around. It all seemed so, our visions are so material driven.
Yeah.
But there's no balance in terms of where's the other side of your vision board, that you're happy as a person, that your parents are happy or your kids are happy, or you have spiritual wealth or the financial wealth, or you have emotional wealth. So I wrote, my planet was based on finding that balance right. So for me now, I only do 4 hours work in any day. 4 hours. I give myself 4 hours to do any business work. After that, the rest of the time is mine to do what the hell I want to do. If I don't want to have a think or nothing days, where I literally do nothing because I choose to do nothing. I dance around my house to Go Isaacs, spin around in my kitchen, do what the hell I like. Watch Real Housewives. Yeah. Watch Four in the Bed. Watch Come Down With Me. Watch any rubbish I want to watch.
You was on Come Down With Me.
Yeah, I was. I'm talking about that though. Yeah, I was on Come Down With Me. But I mean, like,
I remember that episode.
But I mean, like, just doing the things that I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, like, just it's. I don't know. Life just allows me that kind of those kind of freedoms. You know what I mean? To getting that balance right. And with the planner, we were saying, just get the balance right in your life. Don't just keep chasing the bag and forgetting about all the other things. Because if I can find 4 or 5 hours to sit down and chase the money, so to speak, but I can't find 5 minutes to meditate, or I can't find an hour to go to church on a Sunday morning, or I can't find 20 minutes to pray, or I can't find 2 minutes of my busy day not scrolling through Instagram, but messaging all my kids saying, just I love you. Or phoning them one by one. What are you doing? Nothing. What do you want, Dad? Nothing. Just tell you I love you. Okay, get off my phone. Bye. If I can't find those times, but I can find time to chase these monies, that's not balance, bro.
Yeah.
That's not balance. Because I can sleep. Whilst I'm sleeping tonight, is that for me? I can sleep. When I sleep, I can make money.
Yeah.
And I mean, once I sleep, so the money can always be made in it. So I can sleep and make money. Like my books are everywhere, China, Japan, Australia, India. So I can make money when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
But whilst I'm awake, so to speak, then I have to use that time properly, bro. Because the money's gonna be made anyway. I gotta use that time properly. So it's just about getting that balance right, and that's what the planner is very much about. That's why it's slightly different planner. Yeah. The planner I was using was somebody else's planner, which is a cool planner. It was black. I made my planner yellow.
Yeah.
On your bookshelf. You shouldn't have many yellow books in your houses, except for mine.
I was wondering why it's a bright yellow book.
So good marketing. But really, I want it to be bright yellow. It kind of represents what I'm about anyway. Energy in it.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, because of my planner that I had, which is somebody else's planner, it's a black planner. It kind of disappears on my desk.
Yeah. It
really does, honestly. But the yellow planner doesn't seem to disappear. I can spot my book anywhere. My yellow book. If I came to your house, my book would, what's that yellow book there? You know what I mean? So in that sense, I made it yellow for that reason. And also, once again, it represents energy. But the planner itself is about just getting the balance right. So you got prompts in terms of taking time out, so you go through the day, though your business ideas, blah, 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 but also pray, meditation, exercise, be at one with nature. All the other bits that we just generally take for granted.
Yeah.
That's why my planner is better than any other planner on the market.
I'll be the judge of that when I buy
it. So yeah, and that's what, and really, I think it myself, I caught the attention of Forbes because my view on wealth is different from like even my interview with Forbes, as much as they steer towards, you know, my net worth, my assets, I'm always going to steer towards emotional wealth over my personal wealth.
Yeah.
Because what I'm going to leave when I leave here, when I leave this earth, the money's going to be here. But what I've left with you, and you, and you, that is deeper than anything I could leave you financially. Innit?
Yeah. Yeah.
You get me? Those, whatever gems, like the gems that my brother left me with, totally outweighed any money he left me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the money's going to remain here way after I've gone.
Yeah.
But hopefully my legacy will remain in the hearts of many who can say, he either did this for me, or he taught me this, or he said that to me 10 years ago and it changed my life. You know what I mean? So that's really the idea, you know, to be able to impact people's lives properly.
Yeah.
And that's the true value of a man.
Yeah. Before we wrap this up, you've had a very colourful journey. Very colourful journey. Man's still smiling.
Because I don't know what's going to come next, that's why.
He's had a colourful journey. But really, two things really. What does the future hold for you? We know you've got your 3 books that are out there now. What does the future hold for Mr. Wallen?
I want to keep doing the right thing. I want to keep growing, keep learning. I'm still learning every day. So I want to keep learning. I just want to continue doing my humanitarian work, traveling the world and doing what I can for other people. You know, I've got a few products in the pipeline. I have a range of water coming out. Okay. Hence, there's no branding on this.
I saw this man viciously rip off the signs.
I'm not promoting no one's water. I've already got my liquor range, you know. But I wanted to put out a range of water. And the range of water really, it's called True Water. Yes. And it's really less. Once again, it's less about you know, putting it part of my portfolio, but really it's just about ensuring that people around the world have access to good, clean water. Yeah. So though, you know, we'll have millions of bottles, but I'll also be shipping millions of bottles around the world free of charge. Yes. So people have water. And within some of those countries, I've been building things called true wells, which is just clean access to water. I start with Jamaica because my parents are Jamaican. So, you know, like in some of the villages, some of the communities, like the inner city, not like uptown, but downtown, like the ghetto, access to clean water pipes and so on and so on. And in Africa, so the true wells and the true water, that's one of my next best projects I'm working on. I'm also working on an app called the Truth app. And the app really works in the books, so it's going to give you daily things to do, blah, blah, blah. The Truth app. I have I'd probably launch another more liquor brands with Elite Vibes. Books wise, I have 3 titles coming out. I don't know. Put it in anyway. I can do my publishers. They're not better than me. 3 titles coming out which are not yet published are How I Became King. Okay. Yeah, which is very much what we spoke about today. How I Became King. So it's different from my autobiography because it's more of a deeper, so it's less about particular people in my life, though it will touch on some people in my life, but it's more about how I become a king as a black man, and that my crown is my crown, your crown is your crown, your crown is your crown. Your crown as a queen is your crown, however you want to wear that, you know what I mean? So it's how I became king, which also represents how we treat and look up to our queens. I have another book called The Phytology, not Psychology, The Phytology of Fatherhood, which is, once again, just being a father, and it's just not an easy job. It's I personally feel it's an easier job than a mother's job. I really feel like the mother's got a hard job being mothers because they're always there. Us men can move on, have other girlfriends, have other children, but mums, once you have a child, it's your child. You just you have that child forever, so to speak. Us men, those are our children, but we can still move on easier. Mothers just can't leave their child and move on. So the phytology of fatherhood, some of the struggles we go through as men being fathers, and they were like earlier when we discussed, like, though we may not have treated women properly, but we want men to treat our daughters properly.
Yeah.
So the vitalogy of fatherhood, how our Mother's Day is a big thing and Father's Day isn't. Like, Mother's Day, like, when it's come to Mother's Day, all my kids are, Dad, let's get Mum this.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, Mother's Day, a big thing. Mother's Day is a big thing, right? But I don't...
Hold on to them headphones.
But in general, though, like, even if you go into any shop at any supermarket, Mother's Day is the big thing, the big flowers. You know, Father's Day section is very much...
Got about 3 cards.
A socks and a cup. You know, big... Socks and a cup, really, you know what I mean? Listen, my birthday just gone, and I demanded flowers. And I had nothing but flowers for my birthday. I didn't want no presents, I didn't want no gifts. I want everyone to buy me flowers. And everyone bought me flowers for my birthday. Because I said, just give me flowers now. Because I know it's like, if I leave this earth, my funeral's going to be around. You know, they're going to bring flowers, which I can't smell, which I probably can't appreciate. And my funeral's going to be bigger than my birthday, which really should be celebrating my life on my life. But you'd rather come. So I just got nothing but flowers for my birthday. And that's how, so within that whole sort of the vitalogy of fatherhood, it's just looking at some of these things about myself personally growing up and being a father, and also on a wider scope as black men trying to be the best fathers we can be, and the struggles that come with that.
Yeah.
And my third, which was my 6th book, I'm not quite sure which order they're going to be published in, but I have a book which I haven't totally completed called The Poor Millionaire.
Yeah.
Now, The Poor Millionaire is literally around success being what it feels like and what it looks like. And that you really can be a poor millionaire. Yeah. Because you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not rich inside, then you're poor. Yeah. You know what I mean? And happy needs to be happy. Happy has to be the ultimate goal. Happy is my ultimate goal. That's why I smile so much, because happy is my ultimate goal. I get up and I make jokes and I try and cheer other people up and I try and cheer myself up. Yeah. Like I did this morning. I got this morning and I thought, I think my status says, I haven't done no crazy shit for a while. And then I made a quick short video of how I'm going to go and terrorize 3 people in my life. One is my daughter, my eldest daughter, my daughter's mum, and my cousin. And I put it out on my status and I says, you 3, watch, today's gonna get sticky for you 3. I feel like it's gonna be prank Sunday. And they know what I'm like. Yeah. And I made a quick video and I showed putting stuff into a bag. I bought 12 large eggs, flour. I got my bonnet on. I got some bin bags. And they know I'm just gonna go and probably just do their cars over, so they're going to wash their cars in the morning. Yeah. But we have that kind of energy, that kind of banter going on. Yeah. I mean, like, it's just been able to have that freedom, bro, that freedom of happy. Yeah. So those are the 3 books that it's going to be 6 books in total that I look to plan to put out. Other than that, I just want to be happy, bro, honestly. Other than that, that's really what it looks like, the future looks like for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And being at your beck and call when you need me again. Listen, if you need me again.
This author journey, we'll be talking.
Yeah, we'll be talking. Write your book, bro. We've all got a story to tell, man.
We will be talking.
They kicked Kanye out of Forbes. We've got
our Forbes, man. We've got our Birmingham Forbes now.
Also, you got to be kind of PR savvy as well. Like, you got to know what, because not everything I think I must necessarily have to say. Yeah. You know what I mean? And sometimes your energies and your aura says a lot about you anyway as a person. So I don't need to have to say it, because if I think it and you feel it, then it still remains there. Yeah. If I say it, it then becomes documented and can be used against you. So I might say to you guys, boy, my journey as a youth was a bit shaky, you know. I can leave it at that. Yeah. Because we're all from the same ends. Yeah. But had I got into detail and put it in this book, it probably would have had a different connotation to some people. Forbes might think, oh, do we want to be promoting this guy? Yeah. You know what I mean? So you have to be kind of PR savvy. You have to just know. Yeah. You know what I mean? Take what you want to take out of the word shaky. Yeah. Who knows. Yeah. So you just have to know what you do, man. You have to know what you're doing out there.
And you see, on this journey, Terry, because as I said, you would have been traveling and you would have been going through situations and probably at the time not knowing that those are the building blocks that are building you
Yeah.
to this now. Because had you not have gone through all that,
True.
these 3 books would not exist. So, what I want to ask you before we go, Terry, now, what would you say if you could go back in time and just sit down and have a few minutes with the younger Terry? What is like probably the 1 or 2 things you'd say to him?
I've never been asked this question before in no interview, were they? What would I say to a younger Terry? I would have said to a younger Terry, I would have just says, I probably would have done things differently earlier.
Yeah.
Though you really can't change the path of time, but I probably would have done a few things differently. I perhaps certainly wouldn't have been the villain I've been in some people's lives.
Yeah.
Though I've been a hero in many, trust me, I've been a villain in many as well. So I probably would have said to that Terry, look into yourself, like value yourself at a much younger age. Recognize your worth at a much younger age. Appreciate time much better at a much younger age, at that age. And live the life you love and love the life you live, like, once again, at that age. So very much would have been about trying to steer that younger Terry into probably the same path, but just try to reduce any pain or hurt you probably caused to people along that journey. If I could change things, I would have probably changed those bits.
Yeah.
Including, obviously, my kids' moms and so on.
Yeah.
And anybody else who may have been the villain in their life, like, make those changes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Terry, thanks for being so open and transparent.
Thanks for having me, man.
Today.
No, listen, it's been a pleasure. Like, it's for you, probably just an interview. For me, today's been my therapy as well. So
it's bigger than an interview.
Thank you guys. Like,
it's bigger than an interview.
Nah, man, it's been a pleasure, man.
Bigger than an interview.
It's good that we, as a collective, can come together and be open and be honest.
Yeah.
And no holds barred.
Yeah.
I've done lots of interviews, and they've skirted around a lot of things, which I'm quite cool with by the end of the interview. I think that's a winner. Yeah. Get my car, let me go. But I think it's these kind of interviews that will make the whole difference. Yeah. To the podcast culture. Yeah. Because there is no holds barred. Yeah. It is what it is. It's what we say is on the can. Yeah. It's open discussions, and we're having those discussions. So yeah. Thank you for having me, man. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to your team and that. It's been great.
Do you know what, Terry? I wish you all the luck and success on your journey. And again, you've always been supportive of us anyway, so we can support you on this journey as well. Don't ask for no money, but other than that, man, listen, we'll be supportive.
One or two books there.
No, listen. My success is seeing you guys being successful in whatever it is you guys are doing. Yeah. And feeling that I've been part of that journey. Like, that's where it comes back to me. And I see enough youths that have been, and doing really well. And like that for me is where it comes home for me. Like, yeah, man.
Things could have been different, Terry. Easily, I will say, man, you and there's a few other people as well that the direction of travel, and probably for many other young men at that time, the direction of travel changed because, of what you were doing in BRO-SIS and the criminal justice side, and putting us up as, I was a mentor, and you sent me on the course as well. I was like, first proper course, and I was a mentor, mentoring people, still not knowing fully what I was supposed to be doing, but you was always there saying, look, this is what you need to do. So
But once again, it's the same thing what happened with me, and people saw in me what I probably didn't see in myself. So you probably never saw mentorship in you, but I saw mentorship in you. That's why I said you can go out there and mentor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And once again, like we talk about education, I feel like you don't necessarily have to do a mentoring course to be a mentor. Because our mums have been mentors, our dads have been mentors, some of our uncles have been mentors. Before the word mentor was being thrown around, we had mentors.
Yeah.
They just put a label on it and started calling people mentors. But we've had mentors in our lives all the while. And none of these people went on courses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, so to speak. So I would have seen in you and like you going into the prison and helping people and changing their lives in the prison and so on. Like, you can't put money on that. You couldn't even put a life experience. You couldn't really put a real salary on that because that's a life exchanging thing. So for you to go out there and do that in those environments, like prison environments, like what you guys are doing, outstanding, man. It's outstanding work. And I mean, so you'd have made changes to people's lives as well. Yeah. So though I would have been the face of BRO-SIS because I found that, but I couldn't have done it without such a solid team, like who's going out there and making results and getting things right that we could easily make. I can make a phone call. I'm sending in 2 youths into HMP prison Monday morning. Stephen Paisley, Kevin Ruddock, coming in, get name on the list. And I don't mean like normal visits. They're going in on private visits.
These are legal visits.
Legal visits. Okay. Oh, what, Mr. Wallen? Yeah, no problem. You know, and I mean that's because we're delivering though. You know, I mean, it's not necessarily because Terry's making the call. It's because we've built a system where we actually deliver on our outcomes. You know, I mean, we're delivering. So with that comes a backative. I can make that phone call because they know my team's going to go in there and we're going to deliver and we're going to bring changes. Yeah. You know what I mean? So credit to you guys, man. Trust me, it's not all me, but that's like everything else. Someone's got to be the face of most things in this day and age. But really the strength is very much the people behind you. I've always said that, you know what I mean? That's why I always scream praise about the people who have left my life, but very much still in my life. And my current team, which has been the same team as forever. I'm just solid in my delivery, solid in everything I do. Even when I'm writing books, it's the same team. I send them out. Sometimes they get full up their phone and memory and all the stuff. I send them everything, most things. I'll look through this for me, please. But same team, and then just know how it is. You know what I mean? And also to be in a position to be told you're not doing it right. Enough times I send that stuff and I come back with a red X through it, sent back to my phone. Thinking, shit, that is Terry. You're not thinking clearly. Okay. You know what I mean? So just because, but if it's coming from the right place and the right team, it's fine. You know what I mean? Nah, that's not for you. Nah, it's not for you. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Perfect. You know, before you go, I'm going to ask you one favor, because the last question I asked you was something that I just had loads of different questions. And I just took them out of a bag and said, this is what I'm going to ask. It came up. I'm going to ask you, there's a book there. I think there's a pen somewhere. I'm going to ask you to write a question for the next guest.
Yeah, sure.
Write the question. I'm not going to look at it, so I won't know.
In this way?
Yes.
Okay.
I won't know what the question is until the
next guest.
The next person we have a deep conversation with. It's going to be, that's the final question we're going to ask them.
Deep.
Write it down.
Yeah,
and I'm going to take your autograph as well, because when you become famous and you don't want to speak to the likes of us, I can say, well, at least I've got his autograph. When I'm there with my little book and the paparazzi are around and you just pushing me to one side, listen, I had it first.
Everyone knows that's not going to be the case. I'm more likely to be the one in it, like this in the interview and think. I like. Right there. Stephen, come here, brother. Oi, come here, Steve. Come here.
There's a pen up there. In that book, my friend.
Oh, a question.
Any question.
Obviously, I don't know who the guest is going to be, but so it's going to be kind of a generalized question.
Just say any question that comes to your head, anything that you would like to ask anybody. And I won't see what the question is until, well, the videographer might see the question, but I won't see.
Okay.
The king might get to see. Only one question, you know. It's like this, right?
Yeah, it is one question.
What's an essay? A dissertation? Writing his next book then. Shows him. Mr. Wallen.
Thank you.
Bless, man.
It's good, man. It's good. Thank you, man. Brother King, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Empress. Thank God.
Knows what I bear.